Well, good morning, everyone. How are you? Start of another week. We'll wait for a few moments here, let a few people join us, and before we get started this morning. And who is number one today? What's the first name up? Okay. A little delay here before anybody. And Mike from Norland, you're number one today. Francis Marie, good morning. And Mary Norwich, Betty Lynn, and Lori, Niagara Falls. Good morning. Jeanette from our staff. Gary Bolton. And Rita, good morning. Nellie, how are you? And Lynn from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Nick from our staff. And Rosa, Montreal. And Rose, Peterborough. Frida. And Gertie, good morning. From sunny Burlington. Anne, how are you? Moncton, New Brunswick. Luella from West Tennessee. Heather, Miramichi. And Barbara, Cape Breton, Maryland, Kelowna, bright and early this morning. Wanda from Virginia. Roxanne, good morning. New York, just below Montreal. Diane, LaSalle. Doc McEwen, how are you? West Tennessee. Wendy, Markham, good morning. And Maria, Suzanne, Chantal. Where's Kevin? Madeleine, Deneen, how are you? Jocelyn from Baxter, Katie, Elaine, and Marnie, good morning. Dale, and Kathy, St. Catharines, Dave, Melville, Vera, Newfoundland. Len and Judy, Edmonton, Alberta. Hey, the Oilers lost last night. I feel bad for you guys. Dave, good morning. And Georgie, there's Kevin. Kevin's on with us this morning. Carol. Linda from Chatham. And Julie, good morning. Clinton. And Debbie Sturgeon. Couple more. Jackie. And Chantal in Espanola, Teresa, and Rose, good morning, and Maxine, bonjour, Marzana, Oakville, Sue, good morning, Manitoulin Island, beautiful, Kathy from Virginia, Catherine, Springdale, Newfoundland, and Sandy from Washington State. Adeline, good morning. Kim, are you back home from Florida? Nice to have you on with us. Kim from Timmins. Brahim. He's on with us, friend. Yeah, no Canadian team left in the playoffs. Guylaine, Hearst, Ontario. And Huntsville, from Huntsville, Donna, good morning. Milika. No, Mila, sorry. And Fran, Orangeville. Jeanette, Thea. Guys, thanks for coming on. Yvonne, how are you? And Wanda from Ridgeway. Chandra from Brampton. And Brian, Massachusetts. Lily Kitchener, good morning. And Rain, how are you from Michigan? Guys, we appreciate you guys. Okay, now. Do you guys remember, you can be the most popular guy in the world and then they sort of forget about you. But I was reading a study by, it's an Israeli study on cancer. It's very interesting. And what they're saying is that the risk of cancer, okay, can go down by 72%. Okay, this is an Israeli study, just came out, by 72% with exercise, vitamin E. And what they're saying is something that we've been talking about on this program for a while. And that is the metabolic usefulness of muscles. When I talk about vitamin E, guys, you know me, I'm consistent about it. Get strong. All movement is good. Any exercise that you like is good for you. All of it. Walking is good for you. But the Israeli study is very specific. It's talking about exercise that strengthens your muscle. Building muscle metabolically. Now, what we've said for years here on this program is that muscle is the most, as far as your metabolism goes, is very significant. The reason is because muscles are bins. Okay, somebody asked me the other day, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, bins? Well, you know, containers. Think of bins. And your muscles and your muscle cells, the more you have muscle, the more storage space you have for glucose. Okay? And it goes back, let me unpack this Israeli study a little bit so that you understand what they're saying here. Okay? Now, I've talked to you about, this is why I was saying at the top, you know, like people forget, like this guy won a Nobel Prize, Otto Warburg, okay? We call it the Warburg Effect, W-A-R-B-U-R-G, Warburg, Otto Warburg, okay? Almost 100 years ago, he came out with this theory on cancer that talked about, he was the first one to describe that when a cancer cell, when you have a cancer cell, it's different from an ordinary cell. The mitochondria, okay, the battery packs, within a cancer cell are different than your other cells. Okay? Cancer cells, the mitochondria, only use glucose, sugar. Okay? Your other cells, your normal cells, they thrive with protein and fat, but not those renegade cells. That is called the Warburg Effect. Okay? I studied that 50 years ago. But it got so suppressed that people, like, you almost shocked them. Like oncologists, you shock them when you talk about food and cancer. Didn't you study the Warburg Effect? Nope. Nope. It was buried. It was buried. Although, when they developed technology like the PET scan, they used the Warburg Effect. Why? Because if you get a PET scan, again, not for your pets, okay? It's a cancer imaging, and you need glucose to make it work. It doesn't work without glucose. It just doesn't. And so they give you an IV of glucose, or they make you drink it, and they put you in a machine. And if you have cancer anywhere from your brain to your toes, you'll light up like a Christmas tree because sugar will go right to it. That's called the Warburg Effect. Okay? Now, this Israeli study is saying because of the Warburg Effect, the more muscle you have, the better it is at preventing cancer. Because muscle are bins. Okay? Muscles are bins. And they do a lot of storing. Instead of feeding cancer, they'll store that glucose. Isn't that interesting? Now, we all know, well, we've been talking about it for a long time, that muscles are so good metabolically because of insulin. Insulin is the storage, it's the traffic cop that sends glucose out of the bloodstream into, well, if you don't have muscle, it's going to send it to your liver. And when the liver gets filled up, it's going to make fat cells. And it'll make as many as it needs. So all I'm saying about this study is get strong. Get strong. I don't care who you are, how old you are. Get stronger than you are. Make it a goal. Okay? Make it a goal. Develop more bins. If you're tiny, okay? And, like we talked about, I think we talked about it on Friday in question, and some people want to gain weight. There are not many that want to gain weight in this world, but there are some because they're tiny and they don't like it. Well, I tell tiny people or thin people to get strong. Be a lean, mean fighting machine. Metabolically, it's good for you. It's good especially for cancer. Get strong. Now, of course, we talk about, I was reading this weekend, reading the story of Steve Jobs. You remember who he was? Yeah, the founder of Apple. Okay? He died in October the 5th, 2011. Okay? I mean, he was one of the most famous people in the universe in in the year 2000s and whatever. Apple, I got an Apple phone, I got an Apple computer, I got an Apple iPad, I got an Apple, lots of Apple stuff. But he's gonzo. You know what he died of? You should have heard me screaming. Because I used to have a radio show in those days. He was a vegetarian. He literally, he was a vegan. And he lived on fruits and vegetables. He would make smoothies and drink them. He got pancreatic cancer. And one physician, I read that this weekend, one of his physician friends says, hey, you got to change your diet. He didn't think, oh no, I got to be alkaline. He bought that alkalinity craziness. Because, even today, if you Google it, you want an alkaline diet, it's all fruits and vegetables. They'll make you alkaline. I said, well, your body don't work like that. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work like that. Your body has an immense ability to keep your pH right here. I mean, in a very tight alkaline state. So when you eat a steak, they'll tell you steak is acidic, Dr. Martin. Steak is acidic. It's going to give you cancer because it's acidic. No, that's not how your body works. First of all, steak isn't acidic, but let's say it's like a tomato that's acidic. Would everybody agree with me that tomatoes are acidic? Okay. So is lemon. Very acidic. Okay. But your body has a buffering system. When you eat a tomato, okay, your body releases sodium bicarbonate, baking soda, to make you alkaline. So, obviously, Steve Jobs never listened to me because I was trying to get his attention even back then. I'm not kidding you. I said, would somebody deliver that man a message? He's feeding the cancer. Cancer needs glucose. It's the Warburg Effect. Stop all sugars. You remember the guy who played him in a movie after Steve Jobs died? What was that guy's name? I wrote it down somewhere. Ashton Kutcher. Okay? So he's getting ready for the movie. Okay? And for a few months, you know what he does? He does what Steve Jobs did. He said, well, the guy was a fruit and vegetable, especially fruit guy. Drinking smoothies and fruit. When I go into a mall and I see those smoothie shops, I get a migraine. I want to scream. You're drinking pure sugar. That fructose is going to take a direct route to your liver. Don't pass go like Monopoly. Direct. Whoop. So Ashton Kutcher replicated Steve Jobs' diet. A lot of actors do that, right? They got a character and they act just like them, and they do everything, the habits or whatever, so they can play the part even better. You know what happened to Ashton Kutcher? He got pancreatitis and almost died. Did you know that? Yeah, he almost died from pancreatitis. And we didn't realize, if he had renegade cancer cells, whose mitochondria is different, they're looking for a different fuel, you're feeding it. You know what cancer hates? I'm going to tell you what cancer hates. Protein and fat combined. The animal kingdom, where God put protein and fat together. Eggs, protein and fat. Meat, protein and fat. Cheese, protein and fat. That's what's good for you. And I'm not telling you not to have any plants from the plant kingdom. I'm not telling you that. But don't live on it. That's what I tell you. I've been consistent for so long, just saying, don't live on the plant kingdom. Your body wasn't meant for it. You want to get sick? Then live on plants alone. You'll get sick. And I don't care what Netflix documentary you want to watch. It's propaganda. It's not science. It isn't science. It's terrible. You can't raise kids on a diet like that. You need your fat-soluble vitamins. You need your amino acids, your essential amino acids, and they're found in the animal kingdom. So I'm reading this study on the Warburg Effect in Israel, and they're talking about exercise, but I'm going to tell you what food too, because the Warburg Effect is all about sugar and the mitochondria. But I agree with this Israeli study that talks about you getting strong. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. You can get stronger than you are. And focus in on building bins, storage for glucose. Right? And then see what exercise does, okay? Like, let's just take it another step. Okay? What exercise does is you empty the bins. Okay, when you do weights or resistance or push-ups or whatever, okay, anything that gets you stronger, what you're doing is you're emptying those bins, and now you have more storage for glucose. Okay? In muscle cells. The more storage space you create, empty, store. Empty, store. And the Israeli study is saying that is a wonderful thing to do for cancer. It can decrease your risk of cancer for them by 72%. And then if you take vitamin D, the war on vitamin D, the sun. I saw an advertisement for sunscreen. Like, that gives me a migraine. The sun is the boogeyman. And boy, isn't it amazing how advertising works? Isn't it? Okay? People lathering themselves up. Like, in Northern Ontario here, like, we've had a week of nice sun. After, 6 months of not seeing it? And then I see people, they're putting on the sunscreen. Oh! Advertising. It works. They're marketers. Give them credit. Right? I give them credit. I do. Because they dupe people. The sun's the boogeyman. The sun's the boogeyman. Put on the sunscreen. Make sure it's a 50. So it blocks all your UVB. Ooh. Oh, I'll tell you. I really get uptight and on this. Steve Jobs. I've sort of forgotten about him, I use all of his devices, but I forgot about him as a person. I just haven't thought about it in a long time. And then I saw this study and on cancer. And I said, okay. So let's do a little bit of a review today. Okay? What should you do? Okay? We've been talking about cancer now for a couple of weeks. Okay? It's just because of the studies that have been coming out. And, you know, we looked at it. Well, obviously, okay, we start in the kitchen. Change fuel. Go from mostly glucose to fat and protein. Put them together. Okay? Put them together. Like nature does. God put egg. Think of an egg. What's an egg? Like it's a perfect food. Just like steak. It's a perfect food. Why? Because it's got protein and the bioavailable protein, meaning your body loves that type of protein because of its bioavailability, its absorbability, and then fat. And you know how the world thinks, fat. You go to the grocery store and they want lean meat. I watch people and they take the lean cuts of meat because in their mind, fat, that's cholesterol. That's going to give me a heart attack. No, it's going to prevent you from having a heart attack because that saturated fat, which makes meat taste so good. God didn't give you icky. He didn't give you yucky. He gave you yummy, yummy. Like, is there anything that tastes better than steak? Liver? I don't like liver. Okay? But I admit it's good for you. Okay? Is there anything better than a steak that tastes better than a steak? I've met maybe 2 people in my lifetime. Okay? I met a lot of people that don't eat steak because they think it's bad for them. But it's not because they don't like it. Oh, I like the taste of it. It's just, my doctor said. My doctor said don't eat that because my cholesterol is high. So I got to get my cholesterol down. And you know what I was getting when they were telling me that? I was getting a migraine. They could see me with my head splitting because of bad advice. If you eat the right foods, and don't feed cancer, my friend. And cholesterol doesn't give you heart disease, my friend. It's a cholesterol hoax, just like the sun. The sun don't give you cancer. Okay? Now, I'm not saying go out and burn like a lobster in the sun. I'm not saying that. Okay? So don't misquote me. All I'm telling you is that the deadly melanoma, fact, are people that get, first of all, it's in places where the sun don't shine. Melanoma. Okay? It's in places, usually, in places where the sun don't shine. And 2, indoor workers and people that don't get the sun are much more, 90-something% more likely to get melanoma. The deadly skin cancer. Because it's really not skin cancer. Remember, your skin is an organ. It's just the one you can see. And believe me, when it comes to skin, it's inside out, my friend. You start on the inside. And people that got a crappy diet are much more susceptible even to skin cancer. Did you know that? And sure, you can, if you burn and you can get a basal cell or a squamous cell carcinoma, I know that. Don't go out and burn. Put a hat on. Okay? And when you got kids, and they want to stay in the pool all day or out in the water, put a t-shirt on them. And let them swim with a t-shirt. If you're worried about the sun. Anyway. Why do I get so excited? Why does my blood pressure go up? Because I don't like being lied to. I really don't. Okay? So what do we do? What's the best thing that you and I can do to prevent cancer of any kind? Start in the kitchen and cut out the sugar. And then get into the gym or your home and start getting strong. 2. 3, vitamin D. Get in the sun. The sun charges up your immune system. Nobody talks about the immune system today. Your body's innate ability to fight cancer. You have an immune system. Supercharge it. Your T cells, your Navy SEALs, they're looking for vitamin D. They're looking for the sun. They are a solar panel. They got solar panels on top of them. Isn't that important? To charge up your immune system? Keep that strong. You get strong. Cut out the sugars. Cut out those crappy carbohydrates and vegetable oils that they make all the middle aisles of the grocery store are filled with those things. Cut them out. Do the best you can to limit that kind of food. Okay? Exercise. You know what I think of DHA, omega-3? Because one thing, when a tumor gets going, it's going to look for the wrong type of fuel. And if you give it DHA, it's like that tumor's going to step on a landmine and blow it up within. Not to spread, to kill it. Man, that study got, those studies on DHA got buried. I keep looking for them to come back up. I got to bring them up because nobody talks about it. Ooh. Okay. Food. Exercise. Vitamin D. DHA. Did I forget anything? Okay, I need to breathe, okay? Because I'm getting excited today. I am. I'm getting excited. No, I get a study like this, and it goes back, originally to Otto Warburg, and, 100 years ago, just about, and, he's still on the map, but generally most people don't know anything about him, unfortunately. Okay? But as long as I'm alive, I'll bring it up. Okay? Okay, guys, we love you dearly. Okay? We love you dearly, and we mean it. Send in your question and answers. Okay? If there's any questions that you have want answered, you ask them for Friday, okay? On Friday, question and answer. And you guys have, you know, if you're not a member of the private Facebook group and you're just watching this podcast today, then join up. martinclinic.com, okay? Join up. Join our Facebook, okay? Private, but it's fun, and we got thousands of people that interact with each other. What a community. Okay, guys, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.